Peace and love, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new, please like and subscribe. And welcome, beautiful people. It is Monday, Moon Day, and top of the week to everyone out there. And can you believe it's March already? The year is going by quickly, super, super fast. Everything is so accelerated in this new time that we're in. So I want to say welcome and peace and love to each and every one of you out there. Thank you for the supporters. Thank you for the people who've been supporting my website. I really appreciate love each and every one of you. And I'm just so thankful and grateful to be here this evening. Welcome again to the Healing Cypher show. And I am your host, Queen Tamara. So tonight we're going to be talking about putting compassion into action. And the reason we're talking about that tonight is because there's such a big lack of compassion in the world. And many people are suffering and having a hard time right now. And compassion is what they need, patience and love. And that's why I said tonight's topic is compassion in action, because many of us can feel compassion for other people, but feeling is not the same as doing and acting. And you have to put your beliefs into practice, or as people say, actions speak louder than words. And that is so true, because anyone can say and do anything, say anything, but what are they really doing? Are they putting what they say into practice, or is there some movement or action behind the things that they're saying? So the world is so in need of more compassion, more patience, more love, loving kindness to be extended towards one another. And judgment is not the answer, as many people resort to saying insensitive and inappropriate things in response to other people's challenges. And I've noticed that there's such a big increase, it seems to me, in the world of social media, with people saying inappropriate and insensitive and cruel things to people who are experiencing challenges and hardships. And I'm seeing a lot of that, which I think is definitely not empowering, is not peaceful, is not it's not appropriate, it's just not something that we should do when a person is down, to just kick them more by, or step on them more by saying or posting or promoting negative things about that person. And I noticed that when people are down and suffering, especially people who are well known, celebrities, people in the public spotlight, many of them are just challenged and having issues, and their issues are being made public. And when it's being made public, the public responds by smear campaigns and saying the more hurtful things, just treating people as bad as they can, because because their lives are in the spotlights for everybody to see. But just because it's in the spotlight for everybody to see doesn't mean that everybody needs to make a comment, especially if it's not a positive one, or if it's not uplifting, or kind to these people. And they're people too, and we're all being challenged. So let's not forget that we're all being challenged in different ways, and other people are, lives are no less stressful, and the stuff that people are being challenged in is no less stressful for them. You may be challenged in one way and maybe facing one particular type of hardship, and someone else is facing another, but it's no less stressful to the other person. So when you see people going through things, let's remember, to lend them a prayer, say some kind words, show some empathy, show patience, or a helping hand. And if you can't do any of those things, then just be a silent observer of it. But the comments and the online bullying and the things that people are saying when someone is suffering or having a hard time is just not what we want to do, folks, because we are light beings and light workers, and we are making a new earth. In order to make this new earth, we have to leave some of these unhealthy negative behaviors behind us, and just, a lot of them just need to be buried, period. All right, so today's show's inspiration really came from something that I saw a few days ago that I thought was quite disturbing. People were saying some things about a particular celebrity, and this person is having some health challenges, like some serious health challenge, and it's just been really recently revealed to the public. And so many folks are saying that this person is getting their karma, or this is what they deserve, or they don't feel sympathy for them, woo woo, it doesn't, really matter. But the point is, this is someone's parent, somebody's child, sibling, you know, um, and just because someone is well known, they still have loved ones and family members too, and they're still people. And to see someone going through something challenging, whether it's a health challenge or a relationship challenge or some other kind of issue, a loss or whatever, and to say, that this is what they deserve or they're getting whatever, is judgmental, is harsh, it's not necessarily appropriate, because all of us are facing challenges. Somebody could be in that could be you next, or you've had some challenges in your life. Each and every one of us has, and so have our loved ones. And for someone to say to them, to their face, oh, this is what you deserve, or this is your karma, or whatever, that's not okay. And many people are saying, when something bad happens to someone, oh, that's their karma. But what about you? What about the times when some things have happened to you that were um difficult, challenging, unbearable, or whatever? What if someone said that to you? And karma is a one of the laws, if you will, in the universe. The principle of what you put out, you get back. It's like a boomerang effect. So if you're putting out those negative thoughts like that, that will in turn come back to you. And some things, karma is really, I believe, meant to teach you a lesson. And it doesn't always have to be negative. It depends on how you look at it, your perception. If you, even kindness, doing kind acts, random acts of kindness, giving to someone, and then ye shall be rewarded. And the same is with all things, and even if you see someone, who's done some things, and it seems that they're getting, their karma, debt, whatever, for the things that they've done. It's also our karma if we, like I said, kick a person down when they're already down, or we say negative things, or start, resorting to bullying or cyberbullying or cyber judging or whatever you want to call it. That's also creating karma, negative karma. And so we don't want to be in the space where we're creating more negatives in the world. We want to be in the space where we're promoting love and positivity, respect, and unfortunately, the world of social media has become this bullying platform. And in fact, there's another person, I don't want to say his name, but I watch him. I'm a subscriber to his channel. I watch it regularly. He promotes educational videos. He puts videos out that are promoting the education of history, not the narrative that many of us have been fed in history, but like the alternative perspective. And he puts a lot of information out there about the history of the Americas and the identity of people of color in the Americas. And one time he did a video where he shared some offensive things that someone had been sending him. And this person was like, I would call it cyberbullying, because the person reached out to him and, praised him and asked a question. And then because he didn't respond fast enough, the person started saying all these offensive things to him, making accusations. Then the next message that he shared, the person started threatening. I mean, not did he threaten him? Just started name calling and calling him, words I can't say on this channel because we might have some little tender ears listening. But he was calling him all kinds of names, calling him out of his name, and just saying things to him, and making accusations, and this kind of sickness. And I know if you've read the book by Don Miguel Ruiz, I think his name is called The Four Agreements, but whatever the book is, the author's name I can't remember right now. I think it's Don Miguel, but it's a book called The Four Agreements, and one of the agreements is don't take things personally, because when a person does or says something, it's a reflection of them and not you. So don't ever take that personally, even if it's hurtful. This is a reflection of what's going on inside them, because we're wrestling with spirit and what's inside people, the real essence of them, their energy, their spirit, their soul. And a lot of this toxic behavior is coming from within them. So you may see this kind of stuff often. I'm like, this is like a reoccurring thing, and it's just getting more and more of an issue. And I remember growing up in school, and we had bullies on the playground, bullies on the bus. Some people, you only saw them at the lunch cafeteria and they were bullying. And it's like now the world of social media has become what seems to be a bullying platform, and it's even worse than having the bully in person that's harassing you on the job or trying to torment you, because you can't even see these people's faces. They're hiding behind the profile names and images that they use, and you don't even know if it's a real the person that they're really representing, or they're pretending to be someone else. And here they are hiding behind these images, and they're just saying all kinds of offensive, disrespectful, inappropriate, and cruel things to people. And it's just out of control. And I'm hearing stories, some people that have online platforms or social media influencers, and some that I know personally, they are telling me that they are being harassed by people, tormented, people saying terrible things about them, and it's making them uncomfortable. And so this kind of behavior is just not okay, and it's not healthy, and it's not mature. And anyone that you see engaging in it, you need to disassociate with them. If you can tell them, nicely to correct the behavior, then do so. We have to be, as adults, we have to take responsibility for things that we see that's not right. And if you are that kind of person that likes to take jabs at people and, say things to people, and then throw the rock and then hide the hand on social media, then you need to re-examine yourself and what's going on with you, that you feel that you have the need to do this kind of stuff, because it's not okay. And it is bullying. You can call it whatever you want to call it. You can try to sugarcoat it, make it seem anything that you want, but it is bullying. And we know that bullying comes from a person who has low self-esteem, low self-worth. It's the spirit of narcissism too present, and it's a person that feels low, and the only way they can feel high or feel better about themselves is when they are standing on someone else's head or making someone else feel humiliated or feel bad. And that's a sickness. That is a sickness. And that's not the kind of people that we want to be. That's not the kind of people that we want to represent. And we also have to remember as adults that young children and adolescents are watching us online. They're watching us. That's why they call people influencers, because you're influencing someone, whether it's a positive influence or a negative influence. So anytime you encounter someone in a chance meeting or in the virtual world or whatever, you're representing not only yourself, but you're representing whatever group that you associate with. You also may be representing your family, and then you are setting an example. Someone is watching you, someone is being influenced by your behavior, by the things you say, and by what you represent. So keep that in mind always, because you don't know in the World Wide Web who's watching, what young people who are very impressionable are looking at you and listening to you. And if you are using your time and energy and your sites and your social media platforms to throw mud at other people, or to ridicule, or to humiliate others, then you got to really look at that. What example are you setting? What are you influencing? And how are you influencing? So we want to keep all of that in mind when we engage in whatever it is that we do online. Okay. So none of us can really judge if a person is getting their karma or not, even if it appears that they are. Because, like I said, karma is cyclical. So even if you see someone suffering and having a hard time, isn't it up to us to have compassion for them and to help them through what they're going through? Because that may be what is lacking in their life. Maybe they haven't had the help and the love and the support that they need, and that is why they are in the position that they're in. And also, sometimes something really bad can happen to a person. I know from personal experience, but this, whatever this is that looks really bad, it can turn out and create something good from it. Or something bad may happen to a person, but it puts them in a position to meet someone who may change their destiny, or help open up another aspect of their lives that they didn't know anything about. Like, let's use the example of one of my favorite movies, Star Wars. And Luke Skywalker was living an ordinary existence, just an ordinary guy on his planet Tatooine with his droids, nothing special, exciting about his life. It was very predictable. Then one day, something seemingly terrible happened. His parents were murdered by, I guess, Imperial Army or whoever it was. I can't remember now. And that sent him on a path of self-discovery. And it was all a part of his hero's journey, or for him to discover who he was and to discover his destiny. If that bad thing had not happened, he would not have ended up where he ended later in life, and discovered, that he had this supreme destiny to become this Jedi warrior, and to bring balance to the place that or the galaxy that he lived in, and help bring about the end to the war. But if you had looked at it from the beginning, he just lost his family. He was feeling sad. Woe is me. What if he had stayed in that place? What if he had stayed in that sad, grief-stricken state, and never had stepped out or started to explore? He never would have gotten to where he was in the end of the film series if you saw it. So a lot of times bad things happen to us, bad things happen to people. You see some people end up homeless, and then years later they become an advocate um, for the homeless population, and they may start a nonprofit, or they become rich later, and they donate millions to homeless people, end up building homes that for the homeless population, or helping people. So it's sometimes things look like it's one way, but if you look at it from a higher perspective and vantage point, it's not. So for somebody to stand and point a finger and say, oh, they're homeless because they want to be, or because of their addiction, or it's their fault, they're irresponsible, all the many things that people say, you don't know where that person's going to end up, and you don't know how spirit is using this situation to help catapult them into another situation. So that's not fair to say that. People who make these kind of comments is one of the reasons why I'm reluctant to share my challenges, online is because, or any issue that I'm going through, any movements, like if I'm doing some changes in my life or my business or whatever, because of the insensitive judgment, harsh criticism from others that I hear and that I see happening to other people. Because a lot of people get online and they share everything. They're so transparent. They share everything that they're going through. They talk about all their family challenges, their relationship challenges, their business high and lows. I lost all of this, I got that, etc., etc. I moved here because of that, all these things. And then when they share a lot of that stuff online, here come the haters, here come the people saying things, and sometimes taking their videos out of context and just exploiting the situation and making it seem much worse than it is. So that's another reason why I have to really be mindful of what I'm sharing and not to share too much. And also, when we were in the studio with Plugged In Radio Network, which was a wonderful, positive experience. We always got positive feedback. But you also have to remember that there are some people that will take things that you say and out of context and use it against you. So always remember that when you're sharing things with people, because sometimes, because of what's going on with that person and what's inside their mind, inside their heart, they may not take what you are sharing with them in the right manner, or they may ridicule, silently laugh at you and what you're going through. So sometimes you got to really, really be careful. Um, Sometimes when you share things with people, they have a way of making you feel worse. And, they may glorify and delight in your pain, especially people who are jealous of you, who are secretly jealous. And that's one way you find out how they really feel about you, is when you're talking to them about something, or you find out and they say something ugly to you, or you find out that they're, talking about you behind your back and laughing at the sorrow or whatever it is that you're going through. Which is unfortunate, but that's, this is the world that we live in. So when you see someone having a hard time, just offer prayers and some positive energy, some well wishes. Just because people are in the public eye, you don't know everything that they're going through. You may know some things, and you see them in the public eye, and you think, people think they know someone because they're famous, or they see them on television all the time. But just because you see one aspect of their lives, you don't know everything that they're going through, nor do you know their history of trauma, the things that could be leading up to their hardship or their breakdown or their public, humiliation, or whatever it is that they're going through. And many of us have unhealed trauma, and that unhealed trauma can ruin your life if you don't heal from it. So when you see someone spiraling out of control, it's not easy what they're going through, and it shouldn't be glorified and, talked about in a negative manner. You see them going out of control, you see them losing it, that's someone that's crying out for help. That's someone crying out for help. Some people have no coping skills, or their way of coping with their problems is substance use, or resorting to addictions or things like that, because that's their only way. They are suffering, they're in pain, they don't know any other way to cope or to handle their troubles but to drown their sorrows in the liquor bottle, or in the other substances that they use, because that's all that they have. That's all that's available to them. That may be all they've been taught. I wasn't taught ways to cope with stress or anxiety or any kind of issue growing up. I had to learn on my own, and that's one of the things that helped make me the healer that I am. And one of the things that helped me to get into yoga and learning how to breathe correctly is because didn't know how to cope with certain things. And so just because when you see someone going through something and suffering, you remember this person may not have any coping skills. They may know, no, they don't know any better. That the only way they know how to deal with things is maybe to lash out or to just lose all of it, lose their mind, just, and when you see that, that's very unfortunate. And it means that they're probably at their breaking point. And many people are having challenges on every front: financial, relationship, health challenges, you name it. Some people are just going through everything right now. And that they're literally spiraling out of control. They're losing their mind. Losing their mind means they're losing a part of their spirit. It's a lot of soul loss out here, and they just on a path of self-destruction, and that's their only resort. So tonight, let's explore some ways to cope with and redirect this kind of behaviors. Even if you are not someone that does this, if you are confronted by it, or if you see it, this is some helpful tips to deal with it. So, number one, if you're having a hard time, keep what you're going through to yourself, or only share it with someone that you truly trust. If you don't have anybody in your life that you can really trust and that can give you some good advice and give you that support system that you need, then find a trained therapist. There's nothing wrong with therapy. Therapy is a way to heal. If you have a therapist that is really good and effective for you. Some people, reading a book is therapy, reading a self-help book. So whatever it is that can help you with coping through the things that you're going through, find it and stick with it. Okay. So be careful if those narcissists in your family or friends or people who don't see you going through something harsh, but they don't want to offer any support. Those people are not your friends. They don't have your best interest. So definitely don't share it with them, because like I said a few minutes ago, those are the ones that will, they see you in the mud and they'll step on you. Okay. So you don't want to share whatever you're going through with them. Many of us, like I said, some people have hidden haters, hidden jealous people who would try to make you feel bad or make mockery of what you're going through. They'll act like they're sympathizing with you and they'll listen, but only to say something negative to make you feel worse, or they'll try to say something condescending, or they'll be going around telling people, you don't want to surround yourself with those kind of people. They don't have good intentions for you. So don't share what you're going through with everyone. Some people talk too much and will only make it worse, So avoid the narcissists, the naysayers, the judgmental, harsh, people, and just don't even talk to them when you're going through a hard time, because you're not going to get the sympathy you need. You're not going to get the support you need. You're not going to get the kindness and the compassion and the empathy that you need from them. Oh, we got somebody in the chat. Dia, hey, welcome. Haven't seen you in a while. Hope all is well. Good to see you in the chat. If you got any questions, please send them our way. All right, number 2, when people start judging someone who is in pain, remind them that that person is in need of help. If you see someone who just cannot seem to get it together, instead of judging them, recognize that they're hurting. This person is hurting, so if they're having a breakdown, if they're on a drug or alcohol binge, or, if they went from rags to riches, from riches to rags, or whatever the situation may be, recognize that person is in pain. Okay. And so how they express their pain may be different from the way you express pain. Some people, are more dramatic than others. Some people shut down. That's just the way that they cope with things. And or some people, they resort to substance abuse, self-destructive behavior. The list goes on and on, being suicidal or whatever. So when people are acting out, as they say, this is a sign that the person is in need of help and the person is in trouble and may not know how to cry out for pain, because the unhealed trauma that many people have may have taught them, painful experiences and trauma in the past may have taught them that you don't ask for help, you don't speak up when something's bothering you, you just deal with it silently. Or some people's self-esteem is so low that they don't feel like they're worthy to get help or to talk to people, or they feel like nobody cares anyway. So and it is a mean world out here with some folks, for some folks. So be compassionate and understanding when a person is going through things, and recognize that they're in pain. And so when a person's in pain, you don't want to make the pain worse by judging them, by being condescending, or just laughing at and ridiculing what they're going through. So remember that. Number 3, remember we're all facing difficult challenges, and what looks it looks different for different people. So, don't say, oh, I wouldn't do this, because you don't know what you would do in that situation if you were confronted with some of the things that they are confronted with. And all of us, it's a saying that I love and I use all the time, is, you haven't walked a mile in their moccasins. Just because you're observing from the outside what they're going through, you don't know what it's like for them, because you're not in it. How you coped with a situation is not the exact situation that they are going through. So you cannot compare their situation to yours, because it's different. And all these challenges that we're facing, they have purposes in our lives. And as those of us who are watching someone going through this, the purpose could be to teach you to be more compassionate, more mindful of how people feel, perhaps. And then you also got to remember, you may not be going through this now, that the same thing you see someone else going through, but you may have been through it in the past. And a lot of times we go through terrible things, and we get in a better space, and we forget that, where we came from, and we forget the things that we had to overcome and the challenges. And then when we see other people going through it, we'll say things that are judgmental and harsh. But you got to remember that, maybe 5 years ago, 10, 20 years ago, you were that same person, or you were faced with some of those same challenges. You may not have made the same decision that they made, but you've been through it, something similar or worse. And so you got to remember, just be compassionate and be patient with other people when you see them going through something. Be considerate of what they're going through, and offer ways to help, not to criticize them. Number 4, I had to write stuff down so I don't forget. Sometimes people are going through hardships and we're observing it, but it's an opportunity for us to get involved. So you may see someone that, let's say, they, I don't know, lost their home, and they are facing eviction. Maybe they lost a job, or maybe they made some bad decisions and bad choices, trusted the wrong people. They didn't pay their rent or something, and now they're facing eviction. Instead of judging them, maybe this is a way that you create good karma by getting involved and helping them, maybe offering them a helping hand, seeing if there's something you can do to help reverse the situation that they're in, offering them some financial support or some emotional support through what they're going through. So this may be a learning, an experience for you to learn and grow, as well as the other person. So remember, whenever you see these things, you have a choice to get involved or to sit back and judge. So make something happen, versus sitting and watching them, going through the things that they're going through and the hardships. Make something happen. No one deserves to be in pain or going through these difficult situations that they're going through. And if you are in a position to help, then do that. If you see someone, whatever it is, you can lend a helping hand. If everybody will help someone else, then there'll be less problems in the world. And then you can help also by with your prayers and your positive thoughts, because our thoughts travel much faster. And so offer that when you have nothing else to offer. And remember, at some point, it could be you. It could be you. And so remember to offer the help, the loving kindness, the assistance where you can, and then let it go. Don't get too involved when you see people having their challenges. A lot of times, especially people who are empaths, we tend to go overboard sometimes, and we got to learn how to make healthy boundaries. If you see someone suffering and having a hard time, make sure you help, but help the person to help themselves. Don't become too much of an enabler. Do not become so overbearing with the help that you're neglecting your own self. Don't sacrifice yourself for another person. Don't go overboard with helping too much that you're not taking care of your own responsibilities and needs, or your own priorities. Don't put their priorities over yours, because that's where the enabling comes into play. Always have some healthy boundaries with people, and loved ones. Always have healthy boundaries, but give them that love and that help in action when you see someone in need of it. So that's all for this evening, family. I hope this has been helpful. Please comment below, send me an email, let me know what you think. I always look forward to the feedback that I get from the listening audience. I really enjoy that, and I enjoy the interactions that we have. So I hope each and every one of you has a wonderful rest of your week. Much love and compassion. Send positive thoughts out every day. And remember yourself when you are sending those positive thoughts. I remember how you're talking to yourself, how you're treating yourself, self-love and self-care. And let's just be better, everyone. And a peace and love. I hope you all have a wonderful week. And I'll see you next time.